It's torture of the mind. God, did the cops ever just give up on me for like 1 second? A river!
Hello, I'm Mr. Shovelware, and I hate bad games like these that come from bad game companies who don't know what games are, but they're just trying to make profit off the 100 million people who bought the Nintendo Wii. They know 100 million people bought this thing, so they're just trying to make money off them, hoping someone will buy these games. Imagine how many kids cried because of these games on Christmas.
Where am I? That's convenient. Alright, well, I'm safe from the cops for now. I don't even know where I am. I'm just in some random room with some gaming stuff, a couch, a lamp. If I didn't know better, I'd say I'm going crazy. Anyways, the game I got at the beach today is iCarly 2, iJoin the Click. Would have been better if I dug up literal crap. And after being stuck at sea and on the run from the cops for so long, I finally had access to a calendar again, where I found out today is actually the 5-year anniversary of me making shovelware videos. And as of February 2020, the world is in a good place, 2020 is going well, so I should be able to get this video out and edit it in a timely fashion. Right? Anyways, iCarly. I actually watched this show growing up, and I enjoyed it as a kid, but not much anymore. It followed the life of Carly Shay, who lived in Seattle with her brother Spencer. She wanted to do a web show, so she got Sam, her friend, and Freddie, her neighbor, the tech guy, to put on the show, and you know what, it sucked. Who wants to watch a web show developed by a teenager with cringe jokes anyway? There wasn't that much else to the show. It's your typical Nickelodeon sitcom, romance, you go to school, funky shenanigans, a laugh track, and it turned at the end. And now we get to debate for the next 10 years if it aged well in internet forums. It didn't. And of course, like any other franchise on the face of this very earth since the conception of video games, they could not leave it alone. If there's anything I've learned from my 5 years of reviewing bad games, it's that everything imaginable gets a video game. I don't think there's ever been a TV show, movie, comic, fast food mascot, political statement with any type of following that didn't get completely butchered and forced onto game consoles. And boy, for this series, did they make a lot. There were some on the DS, and there were 2 of them on Wii, and yeah, I'm reviewing 2 instead of 1. And I'm sorry for the spoilers. Actually, I seriously doubt anyone even cares. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's dig into this. In 5, 4, 3, 2. You start up the game and the menus look like garbage trash. I know there's the phrase, "you never judge a book by its cover," but pay attention to the very fact that that phrase uses the word book and not game, because any game I have ever played that has had a terrible menu ended up being terrible. Not only does this look like a Sega CD game, the menus have this like cheesy stock music. So you're telling me the people who made this game and paid for the license couldn't afford the rights to the theme song? The stoplight on the right is weird too. Instead of red, yellow, and green, we have red, yellow, and blue. Maybe it's off green or puke green, or I don't know. Also, kind of a minor complaint, but to start the new game, you have to click the red instead of what's supposed to be green, which in traditional traffic terms means go. So this traffic light as a menu sucks.
sometimes you do need to judge a book by its cover, because it's all downhill from there.
There were 2 requirements for every licensed Wii game in this era. You needed an avatar creator and you needed an in-game phone that was kind of like iPhone, which I know it's supposed to be this like cool, fun thing for the people playing the game. Like, oh, look, it's iPhone. Well, guess what? After 5 years of seeing this stuff, it really starts to get on my nerves.
The avatar creator doesn't let you dress or make your character how you want them to be, though. It asks your gender, it asks your favorite color from a grand total of 6. I think there are more than 6 colors, but I may not be correct on that. And your favorite hobby from a grand total of 3. Alright, I'm not kidding, this is probably the worst avatar creator I've ever seen in a game. And it doesn't really make sense. Somehow these options lead to our character and give us forest wallpaper. So this originally made no sense to me, but then it occurred to me as I played the game for even a little bit that this game is an Animal Crossing clone. Yeah, you get to move furniture around your room, you have custom wallpapers, you can buy more furniture and clothing. And so you know how in Animal Crossing games, sometimes you ride the train and answer some questions? Well, these, if you didn't know, are what determines how your avatar is created. So essentially that's their way of doing that. The difference between Animal Crossing and this is that Animal Crossing did it in a fun and lighthearted, non-obvious way that got you excited to jump into the world. But here in this game, you just press some buttons and yeah. No backstory, no reasoning, you're literally just plopped into the world like a stork dropping a baby off onto an island of sharks. Well, unlike Animal Crossing, you're already given a full downstairs room that's heavily furnished, so unfortunately you can't even customize the whole house. Also, there's nothing to do in this room besides sit, so there's actually no point to this room even existing. Maybe they were proud of it, or maybe they made it and originally had plans for it, and they were like, oh shit, we have no characters to put here, let's just, I don't know. I'm grasping for straws right now, that's all I can do.
So this is a first to me. Of course, every bad game reviewer is used to clones. Mario clones, Zelda clones, GTA clones. Hell, I've even seen Super Monkey Ball clones. Whatever, but an Animal Crossing clone? That's when I knew this was interesting.
You step outside and get teleported to school. It's kind of jarring, honestly. Could they not do a basic transition or load screen? Or have you walk and find your own way to the school? I guess this makes sense to me. Yeah, actually finding a location, that's for squares. All games should just teleport you wherever you need to go. Yeah, teleportation is the future. Who cares about walking anywhere? You talk to Miss Briggs, who sounds like a robot. What the hell?
My theory is they couldn't afford or didn't want to pay the voice actor for some reason, so they just took a line from the show and just scrambled it up, and their lawyer said it was fine.
A good portion of the NPCs in this game speak like this. I feel like having no audio would have just been better. So we go to class, which apparently only holds 3 people. Sam and Carly introduce themselves to you out of the blue, and then they recruit you to work on their web show. Here we find out that they have no standards for their show since we have been talking to them for literally 2 minutes now, and they want us on the show. Well, lucky for them. I have little experience doing this kind of stuff. So they want you to find Freddy or something, I don't know. I meet up with Freddy in an arcade, but before we go to Carly's apartment, he gives me $1 to play the vending machine. Guess this is like the first part of the gameplay in this piece of crap, but it's not even gameplay. This is technically a mini game. You walk and press the A button when the machine turns red. That's the whole mini game? They couldn't even animate the inside of a toy machine? So we go to the studio, they want us on the show, and suggest we start sprucing up their studio. And this is where you realize this Animal Crossing clone is even more pathetic than you think. I did not know what to do on the screen. I was trying to place furniture down but had no clue how to do it. Well, you have to drag the yellow stars onto this yellow arrow. How does it indicate that it places it in the room? I thought it was like a garbage can or something at first. Did I miss something? Also, you know what's stupid? These 12 squares here, that's your entire storage. You better not run out of room, which happens often in this game. And this is literally for everything. Clothing, furniture, whatever that hand is. What a bunch of BS. This isn't enough space. Maybe you get more later or a dresser or something, but come on. And there's so many people giving you items, you're gonna run out soon. I found myself just selling stuff just to make space. Not even because I needed the money. As a game developer, is that what you want your player to be doing? Just getting rid of things? Oh my god.
Sometimes I think to myself, I've seen every type of bad game, it's over, there's nothing left. And then it hits me, there's always something left. And we haven't even gotten into some of the real issues yet. This is why I wanted to review this game specifically over 1, because 1 is probably bad, but it's just another minigame collection from what I've seen. But this is something else, something unique. This is like a gem of bad games. If there was an award for creativity in a bad game of how to make it bad, this would win it, I'm pretty sure. This game inhales, or sucks. I'm trying to use a thesaurus to say sucks less because I say that all the time, and I guess inhales is a synonym for sucks. It blows.
Anyways, this is an Animal Crossing clone, but it does a lot different at the same time. Oh, and if you were wondering, different doesn't always mean good. Instead of having villagers, you just talk to NPCs and do tasks for them. But it's not anything stimulating. For example, Principal Franklin wants to look cool for his daughter and needs to learn some dance moves. There are a lot of NPCs you have that experience with different text of course, but that's not real gameplay. You're just mashing text and watching a little animation, I guess. It's either that or you gotta go find someone and talk to them. It's fetch quest crap and not intuitive and fun in any way. I will give them credit because they actually call back to a lot of the more obscure minor characters in this world. They don't have voices, but they seem in character enough from what I remember, so I'll give them points for that type of world building in reference to source material. Graphically, this is one of the worst looking games that I've ever seen, and it might actually be the worst game I've ever looked at. The textures all look bad, the menus as I mentioned are rough, there's not one redeeming quality of the graphics in this game. This looks like an N64 game, like no joke, this is literally an N64 game.
Here's the part in every Shovelware episode where I nitpick and make fun of the world, and I condensed it all into one section this time, so here you go.
I love this parking block, specifically made for a wall. Oh, look at those cones protecting a car, how helpful. This guy here is just staring at a wall. These night effects are absolutely terrible. It's just a darker shade, not actually night. Thanks to the asshole who randomly parked their car here. This sign might be the worst texture I've ever seen in a video game. Yeah. Now that's over. One major difference between this and Animal Crossing is that this game works on an in-game timer and not based on any IRL timing. And it's really stretched out. You wake up at 8 in the game, and by 9 you have to be in school. You literally get teleported and it ruins your record if you don't. Then it's like afternoon already, and you have to be in bed by 9. So there's barely any time in a day to do anything. And it occurred to me, why is it like this? And this is just purely padding. Again, there's no gameplay and not anything to do. I think the developers realized this and were like, oh what do we do? I don't want kids to notice. This game has nothing to it. And then another developer was like, that's a good point. Why don't we just make the game unplayable for 16 hours in a given day? And another developer was like, this game sucks. And then they fired him. There's no purpose to this game being on this timer. The idea is you do a web show once a week and then you just do stuff in the meantime, but no person's placement is different depending on night or day. Like everyone is just always in the same place. Animal Crossing worked with night and day because the villagers like actually had a life and things evolved. This is just nothing. Let's expand on this game's main point. You are here to put on a web show.
Now, as someone who does web shows, I have no clue how I'd transfer the experience of editing, filming. I don't know how you do any of that into a video game. It seems impossible to me. So you might wonder, how did they capture that experience and how effectively did they do it? You really want to know? Well, I'll show you, but yikes.
You play Brick Breaker. Alright, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore. The controls are bad. Like, I don't know how they messed up the controls on Brick Breaker, but it's like somehow motion control based and it doesn't work. And I'm not kidding, this is supposed to be the main draw of the game. You are putting on a web show, but you're just playing games that were on Atari. This game is literally a scam. There should be a lawsuit against the people who made this game. I'm not even kidding. I wonder how many people actually fell for this. This is literally the game. It's a cheap Flash game that revolves around an Animal Crossing world with nothing of what made Animal Crossing special. And so somehow playing Brick Breaker, it lets you drag up and down these scales that give you little cutscenes that show the web show segment that oh my god.
So this game is literally a pile of garbage. It's literally garbage. Throw it away. Go to your dumpster and throw this game in the trash. It's a coaster. This game is a scam. I've seen plenty of bad games, but none like this. There's no gameplay. There's literally no gameplay. There's no gameplay. There's literally no gameplay. You talk to people and play Brick Breaker. Why? Well, I've decided with this amount of laziness that went into this game, I'm putting some laziness into my end segment. You gotta fight fire with fire in this world. I played some Brick Breaker, I adjusted the scales. Here's segments of my web show that I can now use to describe this filth. The graphics for this game can be best summarized like this. A dog pukes into a toaster, and then the toast is ready, so the puke comes up, and then a bird comes and eats the puke as it flies up, and it says, this game sucks. No, and honestly, I don't care. This game is so bad, it's awful, it's an atrocity, and it's killing my brain cells. Like, I literally think I have like 3, maybe 4 left. As a reviewer, there is no more in the bottom of the barrel. This is the absolute worst anything can get. It's putting me out of the job. Were they just trying to ruin everyone's lives? Were they just trying to like embarrass themselves? Were they just trying to say, you know, the gaming, maybe it's a political statement. Maybe it's like the gaming industry is going downhill. Here's an example why. I just can't believe that someone actually put this out thinking it was good. It's complete trash. Happy 5 years, by the way, and hopefully to many more.